something is going on. It's got to be something in the air because everybody is getting fired. Nobody's safe. And then jobs don't even want to hire you no more. And it's crazy because look how crazy this world has become. We never thought we would see this where everywhere you look, everywhere you go, people just getting fired, getting replaced by AI. And it's scary because nobody's safe. It's like you've been living your whole life and you thought you had job security, then here come AI to replace you. And you lost your job. And then once you lose your job, you're going to be on YouTube and TikTok making videos talking about you lost your job. It's like everywhere I look, everywhere I go, or maybe social media is just right in our faces that we can see everything because everybody is losing their job. And I don't get it because I thought you're supposed to have job security in this world. And nobody is safe. Shoot, I could be fired tomorrow. You could be fired tomorrow. And then it's like, when they fire you, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they fire you? And in reality, it's nothing you really can do because you wasn't prepared for this. Nobody is prepared for what's going to happen because we always living for right now. But what we need to start realizing is that we can't keep getting too comfortable in situations because we don't know how situations is going to turn out. And as you can see, the way that life is going, it can go crazy at any moment. Because who would have thought that you would see all this chaos and madness going on in the world each and every day? It's like it happens every second. And prices just keep going up, but you pay. And then it's like workers that have been at companies for years, like USPS, UPS, even working at the Ford manufacturing plant, they getting fired now. And then some companies don't even want to pay out no pension no more. So it's like you dedicated your whole life to that just to be fired. Or even if you first applied for a job, because think about it, you've been living your whole life that you're supposed to grow up and get a job. Nah, but in reality, they don't tell you to get a job until you get like in high school. They don't tell you about a job and all that when you're younger because they don't prepare you for the real world. So when you graduate high school or college, you be walking around lost because they didn't prepare you for this. So then you walking around mad and depressed because you don't know what's right, or you was only doing what you was told, which is get a job. But you was only getting told that the last minute. So it's like it's all coming to you at once. So once you go out there and you try to get a job and then they fire you within a week, you start to feel like your world is crushed. Because I can see it in them people's eyes on TikTok, because even on YouTube, they're crushed because they was being told this their whole life. This is what they need. This is the dream. And then a dream becomes a nightmare when they fire them. And then some people get fired for no reason. Like, I don't get it. You try to be the best you can be at the job, but if you ain't cool with the boss, you get fired. And people get in their feelings too much at these jobs instead of just letting you do your job. They hate when you do your job and go home. They don't want to see that. And then if you're working at a job and you want to get a new car, that's when all the bull crap comes, once you get a new car, because people don't want to see you having good stuff or nice things. Don't nobody want to see you doing better than them. I'm talking about my past experience. Imagine if you had a supervisor and you making $9 or $10 an hour, and then you pull up in a sports car, you gonna get fired. And I know it's crazy because that's how I go. And it's just ridiculous because you just trying to make a living like everybody else. But a lot of people don't want you to make no living. Everybody want to be in your business because that's how people are. And I know it's crazy, but that's the things you got to deal with when you working. So that's why a lot of people don't like working. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of people don't want to be around that. And a lot of people frown upon people that don't got no job. I don't frown upon you if you don't got no job, because that don't mean you don't got no money. Because there's a lot of people who don't have a traditional job and know how to generate revenue. As long as you know how to generate revenue, you can do whatever you want to do. But a lot of people ain't hip to that because they got that work mindset. But if your job fire you and nobody's safe, what you gonna do? Because it's like we all living from check to check. We working just to be broke. Some companies pay once a week. Some companies pay every 2 weeks. But I think majority of the companies pay every 2 weeks. And then you working just to have your bills paid, and you in all this debt anyway because the economy has changed. Houses have gone up. The average house costs what, $200,000, $300,000? How can you afford that? And your pay is not going up. And then in reality, let's keep it real. You probably in so much debt, you can't even get a house right now. You got to knock your debt down. So it's like you working this 9 to 5 and you could be fired, but you trying to knock your debt down, right? You need to knock your debt down just to get a new house, just to get another loan. So think about it. You may be $30,000 in debt, $50,000 in debt. And remember, you working from check to check, right? So maybe one day you're going to decide to be like, well, I just knock my debt down. I'm going to just pay it off. It may take you 3-4 years to pay your debt off. So think about this. Now, don't this sound crazy to you? It takes you 3 to 4 years to pay your debt off just to get back into some more debt. You paying your debt off just to get back into some more debt. Man, that sounds like a trick to me. I don't get it. And then you working and you can't even afford nothing. And your job is not safe. That's the crazy part. Let you be sick and you need to go to like the doctor, or you got a flu and you've been throwing up, or you got to go to the hospital, right? And they say, well, you get insurance to go. That's why we give you insurance. So once you sick and you go to the doctor, why is you getting marked down for your attendance while you sick? That's the crazy part. I experienced that before. And that's why I'm starting to wake up, because you're not safe. And a lot of us cross that bridge when we get there. Why we keep waiting to cross that bridge when we get there about everything in life? About your health, about getting your money right, not executing what you want to do. But the only thing you do that's right away is when you listen to people, which is crazy, which don't make no sense, because you listen to the same people who don't want to see you win for real. And nobody's safe. So it's crazy to me that you could be working your whole life and then just to be fired. Because the way I be seeing these TikTok videos talking about they got fired, it don't make no sense, man. But it's real out here. I get they pain, but in reality, I can't be mad at it because they trying to do what they trying to do. They in survival mode. So I respect it, even if a guy out there homeless and he asking for money. He got to do what he got to do. Maybe a job won't hire him. Because a lot of people be saying, well, he can just get a job. A job is hard to come by. And your job ain't safe. My job ain't safe. You might be on TikTok next doing videos talking about you got fired. I might be on TikTok doing videos next time I got fired. That's how I go. But it's nothing personal. And that's where people go wrong at, because it's just business. It's up to you to take care of yourself. It ain't up to that job. They tell you that they got your back, but in reality, they don't got your back. So it's like you doing extra for that job just to fire you. Because I done seen a lot of people say they didn't put 10 toes down, did extra for their company, just for the company to let them go. So now it's like they depressed, they can't think. They took it personal. But in reality, you shouldn't take it personal, because it's just business. Once you learn that it's just business, you'll be better off, because you'll have a better mindset on how things work. The reason why people be so depressed and mad all the time, they don't know how things work. They don't know how the job system works, because they just work there. They don't know about the company. They never seen the owner. They don't know when did the company start. They just want to work and get paid. And that's where everybody go wrong at, because you don't care about nothing else. It's like an artist. If you're a music artist and you don't care about your contract, you just want to do music. It's the same thing. You got to start doing your research. And once you start doing your research, they call you stupid, or they call you crazy, because you're thinking outside the box. So that's why I like to educate y'all with good, valuable content, because sometimes you got to think outside the box, because nobody's safe. I know you thought you were safe, but times have changed. And I know the older generation used to say it's still the same thing, but in reality, now that you look back on life, you start to realize it's not the same thing. Times have changed. It's totally different than it was back in the 60s and 70s. It's AI out here now. Everybody's glamorizing social media now. Everybody want to post something. It's different. It wasn't no social media back then. Houses went 300,000 back then. So you got to start preparing, because people don't know what's about to happen next. And a lot of people say you got to do proper money management. But if it's an inflation, how can you manage your money properly? You're not getting paid that much no more. So it's crazy to me that we listen to stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, the goal is to prepare, because nobody's safe. And you could be fired tomorrow. Making TikToks. And the people that's making TikToks, I get it. I ain't mad at y'all. Because you got to do what you got to do. Even the rappers, they got podcasts now. The rap ain't even selling no more. They got to do what they got to do. And I'm going to do another video on that, about what's going on in the world. But it's stressful for you and me. And it's like, what can you do? You got to start something, because you're going to start feeling like you trapped. And then you was looking forward to your job, and then boom, you got fired. Now your people's going to be looking at you sad, because you got fired. They're going to look at you like you don't want to work. And every time somebody get fired, they always blame the person. They're going to say, well, they just didn't want to work. Why it couldn't be the job was some bull crap. Because every company is not a good company. Not all companies, but every company is not good. And you got to do what's best for you. And a lot of people just doing something that's convenient for them at the moment. They don't even like what they doing, but they just trying to get a job just to make ends meet. And it's crazy, because you doing all that just to make ends meet. So I tip my hat off to y'all, because y'all jobs is not safe. Because everything has changed. The world is just changing. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's going to get better, but it seems like it's just getting worse. I can't even lie. I ain't seen nothing like this. And I'm an early 90s baby. And then everybody getting called unk. Nah. It's like you 25 years old, you an unk now. That's crazy. I just don't get it. But that's my take on the situation. Let me know if y'all enjoyed, because if y'all didn't, you still gonna see me again, so like this video. I'll be back on the next one. Peace.